What's up, everyone, and welcome to Prime Time, bitch. I mean, another episode of Terror Reels with Steel City Dahmer.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Today we continue our journey into the nightmare. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is widely accepted as the best Nightmare on Elm Street movie outside of the original. I like to think that this movie just skips over the second movie and continues the story of Freddy and Nancy. While getting a bit more silly with his kills, I also find this movie to be the last movie where Freddy is actually terrifying. Anyways, let's get on with the review of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. Open up this nightmare with Kristen, played by Patricia Arquette, building a papier-mâché Freddy house as she tries to keep herself busy, awake and alive. Her mom busts in and complains that she's being too loud with her rock and roll music and that she should be asleep. She eventually convinces Kristen to go to bed, but that wasn't a good move. She wakes up to hear the Jump Rope Girls doing their thing in front of the condemned house on Elm Street. Kristen runs in the house as she chases after some girl on a bike. Well, that was for nothing because Kristen runs with the girl in her arms and she fucking decomposes.
Be down, you're hurting me.
I guess that's normal for a room full of dead bodies. Anyways, Kristen wakes up and walks into the bathroom, only to find she's still in the dream world. The sink handles turn into Freddy's hand as he possesses the mirror and slashes Kristen. Kristen's mom walks in to find Kristen slashing her wrists open. We cut over to Weston Hill Psychiatric Hospital, where a young Lawrence Fishburne is making his rounds and giving some real insight to the doctors.
It's fucked up chromosomes, man. Think about it. All their parents dropped acid during the 60s.
Here we meet our resident psychiatrist, Neil Gordon, played by Craig Wason. He's checking up on his patients and the rest of the characters in this movie, but we'll get to them later. Dr. Gordon and Dr. Sims get called to calm Kristen down. She doesn't want to go to sleep, and after everything that's been going on, who would? She kicks Neil in the dick and shanks Fishburne as they try to calm her the fuck down. She starts singing the nightmare rhyme, but she just can't seem to remember that last part until...
9, 10, never sleep again.
Woo fucking who? Nancy Thompson is fucking back. She consoles Kristen and we get a shitty fade to Neil and Nancy talking. Neil thinks the boogeyman is a bunch of bullocks, but Nancy knows what's up. You can tell by that gray streak in her hair. As Nancy leaves, she spills her purse and Dr. Gordon finds drugs. Hypnosil, an experimental drug that suppresses night terrors and makes you not dream. Gordon sees the nun in the distance before she disappears. She might be important. Here's where I'll introduce you to some of the characters. Here's Philip, he sleepwalks and makes dope puppets. Here's Kincaid, aka Cool Breeze. That's Joey hiding in the background. Not only does he have a gangster teardrop tattoo that never reappears in this movie, he also doesn't talk. He also wants to fuck this nurse, but who doesn't? Nancy goes to Kristen's house to get her bitch of a mom to fill out some paperwork and to get some of Kristen's things. She goes into Kristen's room and what does she find? A fucking model of the house she used to fucking live in? How fucking weird would that be? We cut to Kristen drawing the Elm Street house and dozing off until a tricycle decides to roll in and just fucking melt on her floor. You know, as tricycles tend to do. Oh, this one also screams as it burns. She backs out of the room, right into the Elm Street house. Watch for that pig! Kristen finds herself in an empty room, only for a snake-like Freddy to fuck up the house and explode out of the floor and try to eat her like a fucking graboid. She screams for Nancy, and Nancy hears her as she falls into the chair and right into Kristen's dream. She grabs a shard of the mirror and stabs this cock-looking demon in the eye before they both share a moment together.
Oh my god.
Kristen gets both of them successfully out of the dream and into our world. Nancy explains to Kristen that the house she's been obsessed with is the house that Nancy used to live in. We cut over to group therapy. Here's where I'll introduce the rest of the crew. Here's Will. He's in a wheelchair from trying to commit suicide, and this dude loves D&D. Jennifer wants to be an actress, and this is Taryn. She's a bad bitch with an addiction problem. Okay, now that all the kids have been introduced, the group talk continues and they try to figure out what's causing these dreams.
Oh great, now it's my dick that's killing me.
Kincaid is full of one-liners in this whole movie. Cut to Philip dead of the world. Puppet carves himself into a familiar face and decides he's going to be a real boy. He grows in front of Philip, and the created turns into the creator as he cuts Philip into a puppet. He makes Philip walk to the roof of the building. While everybody screams and shouts, Freddy cuts his strings and Philip plunges to his death. Kincaid doesn't want to believe it was the boogeyman. The nurse lady thinks it was just sleepwalking gone wrong, but everyone else knows it's that motherfucker Kruger. Kincaid starts to lose his shit after the mentioning of lockdown with sedation. Don't let him get you, Kincaid. Dr. Gordon tells Dr. Sims that he's gonna have these kids on Hypnosil. No dreams, no deaths, right? We'll see about that. We cut over to one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Nightmare franchise. Jennifer is watching some TV, aka studying. Can't study through static on every channel, but she begins to bang the TV to get it to work. Remember when that used to work? Ha, the good old days. Freddy goes out of the TV and says the only line Robert Englund improvised throughout the whole movie.
Prime time, bitch!
What an amazing kill, but in my opinion, not the best of the movie. We go back to the group therapy session where Nancy explains that she knows these kids aren't crazy, and knows who Freddy Krueger is and explains what's going on.
Your parents, my parents, they burned him alive. And now we're paying for their sins. You are the last of the Elm Street children.
They go into a hypnotic sleep state to figure out what everyone's dream powers are, because you know, they're dream warriors. As these pendulums float away in pieces, Will can walk and is a wizard master. Kristen can flip around and bring people into her dreams. Kincaid has superhuman strength, and Tyron is still a badass bitch. Joey's power is chasing after hot nurses and getting them to fuck. After a little tongue action, it turns out this nurse is really just Freddy, and that tongue game is spot on. And he ties up Joey's with all these tongues before dropping the bed off from under him into a fiery pit of hell.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling tongue-tied?
The group therapy room starts to bubbling and crumbling around them, and it's not a match for Kincaid's strength. Dr. Sims goes into the room to find everyone passed out, and Joey in a fucking coma. In the ER wing of the nut house, Neil gets fired for the unauthorized use of Hypnosil, and the fact that everyone keeps dying under his watch. As he packs up his car, he sees that nun again. He chases after her. After fighting off some pigeon, he meets up with her. She tells the dog that a lady was raped 100 times and the baby turned out to be Freddy, the bastard child of 100 maniacs. She also tells him how to kill that ugly fuck. Bury his bones in hollow grounds. Sounds easy enough, and she disappears. We check back on Joey, and Freddy wrote a little love note to Nancy in his flesh.
Oh my God.
We cut back to Kristen freaking out because Nancy is gone. Kristen thinks they're all fucked because Nancy isn't there to help, but oh, is she helping. Nancy and Neil figure out who knows where to get the bones of Krueger. It's Lieutenant Thompson. Nancy's dead, and boy is he fucking drunk. Nancy can't get through to him, but Dr. Gordon sure can. As Nancy goes to help Kristen, Neil and John drink and drive to the junkyard to get Krueger's bones.
You and I are going on a little scavenger hunt.
They make a pit stop at a church to steal some holy water and a cross, then off to the junkyard. Nancy gets Max to let her see the kids one last time. She gets everyone to sleep again so they can all be with Kristen and fight Krueger.
Let's go kick the motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland.
The room starts getting ripped to shit by some invisible claws and everyone gets separated. So far, this plan sucks. Kristen has a feathery transition to how we met her, jamming and sleeping at her house. This whole movie has been in one big dream. She hugs her mom and goes to bed. Her mom's date asks about the bourbon, but
I said, where's the fucking bourbon? You should listen to your mother.
God damn it, Kristen, you ruin everything!
Kristen ninjas around the room away from Freddy and crashes through her window and into the Elm Street house. We cut over to Tyron, who walks down the hallway of the Elm Street house and into a fucking alley. Makes sense, I guess. She pulls out her switchblades because, like I said, she's a bad bitch. Is she a match for Freddy? She gets one good shank on him until his hands turn into syringes and he wants to party.
Let's get high.
Holy fuck. It's one of my favorite kills in the entire series. Her old track marks turn into little mouths and Freddy overdoses her to death. What a rush. We cut to Will walking down a hallway. The wheelchair that looks like it's straight from Deathclock's personal collection freaks out of nowhere. It goes to play a game of chicken with Will and slashes at his legs. That ain't shit for a wizard though. After saying some dumb shit, Will shoots some finger lasers at the chair and blows it up. He tries the same shit with Krueger and it seems effective. This is Freddy's world.
Sorry, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales.
Take that, you fucking nerd. Kristen and Nancy meet up, and the wall starts to crumble. Don't worry though, it's just Kincaid bursting through the wall like a gangster-ass Kool-Aid man. Kincaid is ready to fuck this Krueger guy up.
It's time to stop guessing and start messing. Yo, Freddy! Where you hiding at, you burnt face pussy?
A door that seems to lead to nowhere pops up in the middle of the room. They walk through and go down to the good old boiler room. We cut back to Neil and John at the junkyard. Neil gets the trunk door open, and John tries to pussy out. Neil got the keys though, so he ain't going anywhere. Back in the boiler room from hell, they find Joey hanging over the slide to hell. Nancy yells for Krueger to let him go. That was a bad choice of words, and Krueger starts unwrapping the tongues from Joey. As Nancy saves Joey in the neck, or should I say the tongue of time, Kristen and Freddy start kung fu fighting. Kincaid tries to save her, but then Krueger grips him up, so Nancy impales him with a piece of rhubarb. Then Krueger tells us all about his workout regimen.
Yes, the souls of the children. Give me strength.
This grosses everyone out, but Freddy notices his skeleton is getting fucked with and vanishes to go take care of business. As a few of these junk cars start going crazy, a skelly Freddy pops out of the bag.
It's really you.
John doesn't last long against the Army of Darkness Kruger and gets tossed into a spiky car. Then Neil gets knocked the fuck out and tossed into the hole they dug. And Kruger finds out that burying a body is hard work, and he gives up, yells victoriously into the skies, and vanishes to deal with the kids. The kids end up in a hall of mirrors. Freddy appears in every mirror and starts pulling the kids in the mirror dimension. Joey realizes his power is that he can yell and talk. His scream is really annoying to Freddy, and it causes all the mirrors to explode, letting Nancy, Kincaid, and Kristen free. They all think they destroyed Freddy. Look, even Nancy's angel father comes down to tell him, good job. As they have a moment, it turns out this really isn't an angel. It's fucking Freddy. Not cool Freddy, and he guts Nancy.
Die.
Freddy bitch slaps Kristen before he can kill her, and Nancy hops up and forces his own finger knives into his gut. Neil also slides Freddy's bones into the hollow ground, tosses some holy water and a cross onto those bones. It seems like a great combo as Freddy starts ripping open with the holy light and finally dies. This time at least. Well, there you have it. That was Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Arguably the best Freddy movie in the entire series. The kills were great, the characters were characters I could believe in, and Freddy was real menacing while still giving us some yucks. This is my second favorite movie in the series. Well, thanks for watching this episode of Terror Reels. Stay tuned for the next episode where the nightmare keeps on a-coming with Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Masters.